Hey everyone, welcome back. This is episode 5 of my franchise with the Chargers. We have officially reached the end of the regular season, and I am happy to announce we made the playoffs. We are a wildcard team sitting at 9-7 on the year. Completely exceeded all of my expectations for this year. My goal was to just simply start building a defense that can dominate other offenses around the league, and then put together an offense that can take care of the ball and just control the game so that we at least give ourselves a chance to win. But I didn't actually expect to win. However, we pulled off 9 games this year. It was enough to sneak into the playoffs. So I am thrilled with how we did. Before we get to the game today, I just want to go through, check out the season stats. So, Josh McCown, by this point, father time himself, all right? Over 4,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. Did have 17 interceptions, but he was able to lead us to 9 wins, which is more than I could have asked for him. Pretty decent QB rating at 87.2. But I'm most impressed by the 4,200 yards of passing yards. I wouldn't mind bringing him back for next year. Maybe as that mentor role for whatever quarterback would pick up, or like a backup. But I have a feeling he's probably just going to retire, unless he just never retires. He's like 70 years old playing football, but as long as he's productive, right? So Josh McCown had a good year for us. All right, let's go ahead and check out our rushing stats. So Nick Chubb, the guy that I brought in, that I wanted to build the offense around that power run ability, got us over 1,200 yards of rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. And maybe I would have liked to see more rushing touchdowns out of him. However, as we've seen from a few of the games, maybe Nick Chubb wasn't properly utilized all the time. But to see his production of 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns on a team where we really didn't have that great of an offensive line, we didn't really have a passing threat, so defenses were able to just key in on our run game. As you see, Austin Eckler, when we watched our games, he got shut down a lot in the runs. He did average 3.7 a carry for the season, but only 233 yards. Whereas Nick Chubb, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Couldn't have asked for more. However, as we continue to build up this offense, I would like to see him produce more. All right, on to receiving now. So Jarius Wright led us in receptions and total yards at 918. Only had 6 touchdowns, but again, we didn't really have that great of a passing threat. So the fact that he was our number 2 receiver and he almost had 1,000 yards, couldn't really ask for much more than him. However, Williams down here, he got hurt, was out for about half the season, so he was on pace for over 1,000 yards and between that 8 to 10 touchdowns. Maybe next year he'll be healthy. He'll actually be able to produce more. Taylor Gabriel, actually, I think Wright was our third. Yeah, Wright was our slot receiver who became the second when Williams was down. Gabriel was actually supposed to be our second receiver, and he jumped up into that first role. So he kind of underperformed, given that he was a starter for the whole year. Only 53 receptions for 654 yards. We brought him in for 1 year. As you can see, he didn't produce, so we're probably going to move on from him this offseason. It does look like Wright would be a good slot receiver. I'd like to bring in a receiver better than Wright. Someone to pair up with Williams so that we can have that 1-2 attack, and then let Wright work the slot. At tight end, remember halfway through the season at the trade deadline, we traded away Hunter Henry. Delaney Walker was our second tight end for the first half of the season, primary tight end for the second half. He did produce it as far as yards, but he didn't put up any touchdowns. And when you get in the red zone, in today's NFL, that tight end is a touchdown maker. And the fact that he didn't produce many touchdowns tells me that it's time to move on from him as well in the offseason. Our receiving halfback, now again, also in between the first and second episode, Austin Eckler was hurt, so he was out for about a quarter of the season, um, which also kind of means that he probably could have had more rushing yards than what he did, but we want him mainly for his receiving abilities. You get that 1-2 punch of a power runner and then a receiving back, and it works really well as far as being able to produce, especially out of the multiple offense that we run. However, here he only produced 408 yards receiving for 3 touchdowns. Someone of his caliber, I would have liked to see more out of him. In fact, Nick Chubb down here is our power back. Not as many receiving touchdowns, but had half the yards. So, I would have liked to see his receiving yards be around the 600 to 700. Maybe 700 is a little much, but around 600 yards receiving from a receiving back would have been ideal, especially in an offense where we didn't have a line. So screens and checkdowns would have helped out our quarterback a lot. Blocking, gave up a lot of sacks, but that was to be kind of anticipated. However, when you think about it, 15 sacks sounds like a lot, and usually that is. But you play 16 games, only give up 15 sacks. That's only averaging 1 sack a game. The problem is almost every one of our linemen was in that range. So we were averaging probably about 4 to 5 sacks a game, which is a lot. And that's not to mention how many times the QB was under pressure or how many times they got hit as they thrown. So we definitely need more protection. Defense. Okay, so I did anticipate having a pretty decent defense this year. Drew Tranquil out of the middle linebacker spot completely surprised me. I did not expect him to be one of the top performers. However, 120 tackles. And keep in mind, Tranquil wasn't the starting middle linebacker for the entire year. We moved who was it? We moved Woodyard. Woodyard was the starting middle linebacker, and then around the trade deadline, we moved him to right outer linebacker, which, by the way, Woodyard completely underperformed this year. Definitely not bringing him back. However, Tranquil, starting off the year as that second middle linebacker and then eventually the starter, had 120 tackles. No sacks, but 3 interceptions, 3 pass deflections. Did he force any fumbles? Nope, no forced fumbles. So, given that he's a young linebacker, I didn't really anticipate much from him. He definitely overperformed. So did Kaiser White, another young linebacker that I didn't anticipate getting much out of, but had 104 tackles, 3 interceptions. Derwin James, our star safety, 97 tackles. Kind of a lot for a safety, although he is a run support, so he is coming up to help out. Only 2 interceptions, so maybe I'd like to see more interceptions out of him next year, and then maybe see if some of our line or linebackers get more of those tackles and not so much the safety. However, given the fact that he contributed 97 tackles, he made some plays for us, so that's really all I can ask. Logan Ryan, 7 interceptions. I raved so much this season about King. I gave King a huge, huge contract. If you remember, King got 7 years, $105 million, and he only gave us 3 interceptions and 63 tackles. Okay, again, tackles from the cornerback positions, not really something I'm too concerned about. However, those pass deflections, I like to see those high, and catches allowed, I want to see those low. I really like to see the interceptions. Logan Ryan had a great year. King kind of underperformed considering the quality of defensive back that he is and the contract that we gave him. However, as long as Logan Ryan continues to produce, I don't mind keeping him around. Now, I do know I offered him a contract and he turned it down, so we'll have to see if there's some way that we could work out a deal before the end of the season, because he was brought in on a 1-year contract. So as much as he produced and as much as I'd like to have him around, if the money doesn't work out, he just may not be here. And the bottom line is, we're a rebuilding team, and you're going to kill a rebuild if you tie up all of your money into players that aren't going to be part of that long-term plan. Logan Ryan's getting a little up there in age. I think he's somewhere around 29, 30 now. So giving him a lot of money when maybe we can go out and get a young cornerback and develop them might not be the best idea. However, if the money works out, I don't mind bringing that production back. Jefferson, another guy that was here for only 1 year, 82 tackles, which is nice, but his pass defense, and out of the free safety position where we want that zone safety that can go around and defend passes, he didn't really produce much for us. Myles Garrett. If you remember, I wanted to bring in Nick Bosa to pair up the Bosa brothers. However, the 49ers didn't have enough cap room to take the assets that would have made the deal work. So I brought in Myles Garrett, got a 16.5 sacks. Even though that's really only averaging about 1 sack a game, that is still a lot of sacks to have on a season. So speaking of Bosa, 6.5 sacks and only 38 tackles. As I've mentioned quite a few times, as we watched our games, I seen Bosa get locked up. He got double teamed a lot, but there was a lot of times that there was only one person blocking him and he couldn't get around him. We gave Bosa 7 years, $120 million. So for those next 7 years, he better start producing because I'm not going to pay $120 million for the numbers that he put up this year. I think that's going to be all for the stats. There's kicker and punter, but honestly, we can see how our kicker did. Kicker was 17 for 18, 94%, which is really good. 51 for 51 on extra points. So he had a good year. However, I don't plan on bringing our kicker and punter back, so we're going to have to find new ones in the draft. So with that said, we had a lot of people overperform, which got us to that 9-7 that surprisingly we had. However, we had a lot of people underperform, especially the ones that I thought were going to be big performers like Bosa and King. My focus for the offseason is going to be improving the interior defensive line because right now, offensive lines are able to focus on stopping Garrett and Bosa because they don't have to focus too much on our defensive tackles. If we get defensive tackles that can put more pressure on that offensive line, then we're going to generate more sacks, whether it's from those defensive tackles or if it leaves our defensive ends in single protection and then they can beat them for the sack. Also, what that's going to do, it's going to shorten the amount of time that the quarterback has to throw the ball, which is going to give our secondary some help. They're not going to have to be in pass protection for as long, which means less of a chance of them getting beat. The flip side of that is we need to make sure that our secondary and our linebackers are taken care of and improved because the longer that they can hold their pass coverage, the longer our defensive line has to get to the quarterback. So two sides of the same coin. However, I think if we improve our defensive tackles, it's going to help us out a lot. So that's one of my big focuses in the offseason. Of course, we have to focus a lot on offense as well. So it's going to be one of those situations of take the best available or take the one that you think that can help the team the most. I'll have to figure out what we can do in free agency or what we can pick up in the draft. For now, we're in the playoffs, so let's enjoy this playoff push. Okay, every game could be our last, or it could be a Super Bowl magic year for the Chargers. The last year in LA, last year as the Chargers. Remember, next year we are, I believe it's the Nighthawks that I chose, moving to Oklahoma City. So looking forward to the support of a new city. Anyway, enjoy the game. Hopefully we win. I'll see you at the end of it.
Tonight, from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, it's the AFC Wildcard round on EA Sports. It's the Indianapolis Colts taking on the LA Chargers.
These folks in the Circle City, they love their Colts, and they have packed the house tonight as we welcome you to Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis. Tonight, it's the AFC's turn to take center stage as we've got a wild card matchup on tap between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the postseason on EA Sports. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, that's really all I need to say to get you fired up. It's the postseason on EA Sports.
And no one's more fired up than the guys who are going to be playing in this game. This is what they fought for all year long. Go back to the OTAs, the mini camps, training camp, throughout the season to get to the playoffs. Intensity level will be off the charts.
The battle for the Lamar Hunt Trophy begins as we're underway in this AFC wildcard game. And we'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. Colts ready to go to work here offensively, and it is Phillip Rivers, their veteran quarterback and longtime Charger, who will be under center.
One way you become the all-time leading passer for your team is pure talent, and Phillip Rivers has plenty of that. But it's also dedication to your craft and the willingness to get better all the time. Phillip Rivers has a van set up with a driver so that when he goes to and from practice, he's able to watch tape and find ways to improve his mechanics each and every day.
Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
From the 24, Rivers into the hands of his running back, Marlon Mack. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop.
A gain of 4 brings up third and
Rivers from the gun on third down. He'll take a shot downfield for Pittman. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. So here's the Charger offense making their way out. They'll be led out by a guy who only became a starter relatively late in his career. It's the well-traveled veteran, Josh McCown.
It may feel to us fans that Josh McCown's been in the league for about 30 years now, but it was the 2002 draft that delivered him to the NFL. And how does he stay in the league for so long? Great teammate, terrific leadership skills, knows that he can help develop young quarterbacks, and when called upon to play, usually delivers.
And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
Chargers.
McCown now on first down. On the catch, it's Jarius Wright. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49.
A 6-yard pickup brings up second and 4.
6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's second and 4. Working from the gun, McCown. And this is caught. I think he got that with one hand.
Complete.
His first catch of this wild card game, and it's good for a first down.
First down, Los Angeles.
Throwing on first is McCown. And this is incomplete. One of his main targets, Delaney Walker, the intended receiver. That'll bring up second down.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Back to the air on second down. McCown over the middle, and it's incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10.
It's third down.
McCown looks to throw again. Trying for Wright, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Malik Hooker, and the return here will go to the 31-yard line.
The third down pass.
So a pretty shaky start here for both sides.
Yeah, each quarterback's throwing a ball to the other team. Do you think on both sidelines they're sitting them down and saying, okay, remember, this is the color jersey we're wearing. They're wearing the other color. Let's make sure we get it to our guys, please.
So out now comes the offense back onto the field. And, of course, you know, you wondered who would be that team this year to get the number 2 seed because, remember, as we all know in the past, they'd be home on the couch right now getting ready for the divisional round.
That is an excellent point. Instead now, they're playing for their playoff lives. And they can't worry about the idea that, well, in the past, we wouldn't be playing this weekend. The bottom line is, as the number 2 seed, you do have to play. The good thing, you have the home field advantage. They need to go ahead and play to that level.
And you just know that before the season, they were like everybody else thinking, oh, 7 playoff teams, yeah, add an extra one. That sounds great. And then you find out, oh, wait, we're the number 2 seed that has a disadvantage. Not as happy right now. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
And he's going to be brought down inside the 45 at the 43. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Brings up 2nd and 3.
On 2nd down now, it's Mack. And a penalty flag down as he gets only about a yard. Now let's listen in on the call. So the big tight end holding.
Each and every year, we talk about very few tight ends coming into the league that are polished blockers or asked to do it a lot in college. So it's a constant struggle and a constant fight to learn how to do it without holding.
Oh, he's able to out-muscle him there as he pulls it in. First catch of this wild card game for a 1,000-yard receiver in the regular season. He's got a first down, too. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Rivers. Finding Horton on the slant. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Right back to him for 10 more and a first.
First down.
Naeem Hines, his first carry. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2. And it brings up 2nd down.
On the stop. A gain of 2. Brings up 2nd and
From the 22, Rivers. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28.
Enough to start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
And that sack leaves Rivers and the Colts with a 3rd and long. Working out of the gun, Rivers. Taken in by the tight end, Doyle. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Rosa's kick is good. And the Colts hit the scoreboard first. It's 3-0.
The score, Colts 3, Chargers 0.
So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result of 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends later with another 9-play drive that culminates in a touchdown when they wear down the defense.
Take over 1st and 10.
Now this offense ready to head back out there. And you know, a lot of talk about these 2 versus 7 games this year in the playoffs, something that we've never had before. And this, one of now 6 games on Wild Card weekend. But, you know, we've seen the 6 seed in the past make a run, Charles, so why not the number 7 seed?
And I'm still getting used to hearing 2 versus 7. You know, it's still taking me a little bit of time to get comfortable with it. But that's a great point that you just made. 6 seeds have made big runs in the playoffs, have run themselves all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's much difference between a 6 and a 7, so we could see the same thing with this new playoff system.
A 3-yard gain on the play.
From the gun on third, McCown. He'll get this to Eckler. And they will stop him short. They get him to the ground at the 27. No first down.
A gain of
A
6.
short gain that doesn't get them the first down brings up a 4th down situation.
Really nice job defensively. They knew where the sticks were. They got the stop before it. Fourth down, and on is Ty Long to punt. Pretty move. A 39-yard punt, a return of 5. And the Colts will go on offense here, 1st and 10. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. A run by Mack to start the drive. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
The ball carrier. He was brought down at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 8.
On 2nd down, here's a run with Mack. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48.
That's good for a Colts. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
They'll run on 1st down with Marlon Mack. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards, but also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
And he's brought to the ground with another 1st down at the Chargers' 22-yard line. That one good for 20 on the catch and run.
1st and 10.
How about a guy proving his worth in different ways? Had a big play in the run game to play before. This time, they go right back to him in the passing game, and he comes through with yet another big play. That's why you work out so hard in the offseason, so you can stay on the field and accumulate big plays.
On 1st down, Mack. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19.
The ball carrier.
Justin Jones there on the stop.
19-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Rivers under pressure, and he'll go down. Back at the 26-yard line. Joey Bosa. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him.
We said it before the game, and I think it's still apparent. If these guys are going to advance in these playoffs, they're going to have to wreak some havoc coming off the edge.
Yeah, wild card round. They told us the wild card could be that defensive pressure. They showed it there. Now that sack leaves Rivers and the Colts with a 3rd and long. From the gun, Rivers. He's got Jack Doyle. And they're going to get him down well short of the 1st as he can only get this to about the 19. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down.
One of the money routes for any offense, the drag route. So tough to defend because the receiver can stop at any point and make himself available to the quarterback and get a completion. But I love the communication we saw there. All the defenders pointing out the receiver where he was going, and then they're able to rally to the ball after the catch and stop him short of a 1st down.
Makes the score Colts 6. Chargers nothing.
So 2 first-quarter field goal attempts for him, and he's converted on both.
I like the positive right there. 2 for 2, got the points on the board. The negative side is they didn't score touchdowns. And, of course, going forward in this game, that's going to be the aim, and hopefully they'll be kicking extra points instead.
Their own 26-yard line.
And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. And it's been a rocky start for them thus far. They had the turnover and then the punt on those first two drives.
So there is optimism because they've improved, right? A turnover, you just noted it.
Punt's better than the turnover.
The punt is better on the second one. Now they're hoping to turn into first downs and hopefully points.
They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Gain of 12.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. And a play fake. McCown. Wright's got it. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
It's a gain.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49.
He's across.
Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line.
Down the Chargers.
Now Chubb. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
He was brought down at the 45-yard line. A gain of 4. It's now 2nd and 6.
They'll run for the first time with Austin Eckler. And he's going to get this pretty close to a first down at the Colts 38. Give him 6 on the play, and the Chargers are going to get themselves a fresh set of downs here.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive they went 3 and out.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Now they'll throw with McCown. Complete to Wright. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so. In need of only about the length of the football here on 2nd down.
At the 28-yard
run for Nick Chubb. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
And Brandon, you know that expression? He just does what he does. It sounds trite, doesn't it? But in this case, it's perfectly apt. This is one of the better runners in the NFL. And all he does is just find avenues, find ways to pick up key first downs and big runs.
And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here. A throw on 2nd down by McCown falls incomplete. So 3rd and inches, and this will be the 9th play of the drive. They'll run for it. Here's Chubb. And he will have the first down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it 1st and goal.
That's a nice run right there, able to get to the outside. And so many times defenses say, okay, we've got you hemmed in. But if you're running the football, at least you know where everyone is coming from. You don't have to worry about the backside at all. That allows you to run with a little bit more confidence as you traverse down the field.
They'll run with Chubb, and he takes it in for a Charger touchdown.
Chubb on the carry.
A 9-yard touchdown run. And the Chargers are an extra point away from moving out in front. A solid blocking up front from the guys on the offensive line allowed him to get in for the touchdown.
Yeah, some might say that the guys on the offensive line were in concert. I used to have a coach who called it marrying up. Meaning, when you get on a guy, you just stay right there, and each guy has his own assignment. That allowed the runner to make the big move towards the end zone.
He's got it, and they take the lead at 7-6. So that one a long 11-play drive. And Nick Chubb, the one to finish it off, as he does so with a touchdown run. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And this carries into the end zone. And Rodgers will hold on to this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Marlon Mack now heading back out there. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
They show run with 3 tight ends here on first down. From the gun, Rivers hits his target, the tight end Mo Alley Cox. A gain of 6 there on first. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. First hand at the big D lineman. Nearly had an interception. Instead, it falls down incomplete.
Brings up 3rd down and 4.
From the gun on 3rd down. Rivers, just his 2nd incompletion so far. He's 8 for 10. I think he'll take 80%.
There's no doubt that he will, but if you're the defensive play caller, you better circle what you just dialed up on your play sheet and come back to it, because you just caused an incompletion. You need a few more of those.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The offense trots back out there. Let's turn our focus now to Nick Chubb. He's been effective so far, over the 40-yard mark here in the second quarter. Don't forget about those guys up front, though. They've been effective, too.
The leverage game has been in their favor. They've been the ones who've been able to bend their knees, drop their hips, and get a little bit lower than the guys on the other side of the football. And they've moved them out of the way for the runner.
Sometimes that's tough for those big fellas.
Not an easy thing for them to do.
Shakes off the sack. Open man, Taylor Gabriel. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Here's McCown. That's complete to Williams out of the backfield. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
At the 40.
Shotgun here for McCown. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it. So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. Again, it's McCown. And he's unable to haul it in, so it falls incomplete over the middle 3rd of the field, and that brings up 4th.
I'll tell you what, these last couple of drives, much better from a defensive perspective. They gave up a touchdown on the opening drive, and then after forcing a punt on their last possession, it looks like they're going to get the football back again.
On the punt, 2 on the return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs.
At their own 19.
Marlon Mack now heading back out there, and I'm wondering if maybe they don't go away from him on this drive a little bit. He's been great, but they haven't scored a lot of points.
I think they still have to show him as a threat, make sure he touches it a few times, but as you pointed out, use him as a decoy a little bit and get the ball in the hands of some other people where we put more points on the board. He's done a really nice job of establishing them with his running.
Yeah, he's established himself well. Now can they put more points up? When he runs, he seems to do a nice job of knowing when to be patient and find the hole, and then when the hole is there, he goes quickly.
You're exactly right. He knows how to just take off, but you know what else? Brings a little thump with him, doesn't he?
He does.
He packs the boom at the end of the run and finishes it going forward. That's what you want to see out of your backs.
On first down, they'll stay with Mack on the ground. And he'll rumble for about 5, up close to the 40.
Ball carrier.
That's a really good gain right there. They pick up 5 yards halfway to a first down. The only problem now in the huddle, everyone's going to want to touch the football. Be a lot of chattering now because they've seen that they can move the line of scrimmage.
And his throw is incomplete. The Colts on third down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Operating from the gun. Rivers. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free. And it brings up 4th down.
And that's one of those plays where it's hard to keep 2 eyes on the football when you know the contact's coming, let alone getting 2 hands around it, hugging it to your body, and absorbing the hit. Even for those big tight ends who you would think could absorb that contact.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Chargers will be backed up deep to begin their drive as they take over 1st and 10. The offense trots back out there. Let's turn our focus now to Nick Chubb. He's been good. His guys are winning. So far, the recipe working here in the 2nd quarter.
And he doesn't like to just tote the rock. He wants to carry his team on his back. And that's what he's done throughout this game.
Yeah, he's done that. He'll be hoping to continue that trend. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6.
20-yard line. A 6-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 4.
They go with Chubb on 2nd down. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
The Chargers on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This time it's 3rd and 3. And he locates Walker, complete. And he's going to have the first down yardage as he's down at about the 30-yard line. His first catch of this wild card game, and it's good for a first down.
Well, sometimes our pregame meetings do pay off, don't they? What do the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him Old Reliable.
Yeah, that means he doesn't move quite as fast as he used to, but he still knows all the tricks, doesn't he? Even that little gentle push-off in order to get open, he finds a way to pick up a first down.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On the ground, it's Chubb. And he'll have a gain of 3 to the 33.
Look, all any running back wants is a little bit of room, a little bit of space in order to maneuver. But he also understands how difficult it is for his offensive line up front. So if they give him any space, he realizes his job to make more out of it than what they give him. Picks up 3 on that carry.
And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down.
The tackle made at the 36-yard line. A 3-yard pickup.
Now McCown.
3rd down.
On the screen, this is Eckler. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Charger first.
16 yards.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Out of the gun, Eckler running it. And he stopped immediately there. And now time is called as we've got an injured Charger down there on the field. We'll check on his status when we get back. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10. Here's McCown to throw. He'll let this go for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Malik Hooker. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Intercepted.
And that's now the 2nd time he's picked off a pass here in the first half alone. Again, another great read defensively, and you just see him get in the right position to make the play and get his guys the football back.
Marlon Mack now heading back out there. And the ground game's been good, but they're losing here in the second quarter. Can they use that ground game maybe to work the air attack a little bit more?
I think so, because now you can throw play action off of being able to run the ball effectively. And oftentimes you might want to just swing your back out of the backfield, get the ball in his hands in open space, and just don't get totally away from running it, because some of these runs now, they may pop bigger as the game goes along.
Yeah, they've been good with a run so far. From the 22, Rivers. This goes underneath to Doyle, and he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
At the 30-yard.
A first down throw here for Rivers.
When the offense reads blitz, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. Tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. Let's see about the call. That hold coming from the middle of the line, the center.
And it's difficult for him because sometimes you got people right over you, and as soon as you snap it, trying to get your hands up and block them, you can be a little bit late getting it done.
Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete. The Colts on third down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This will be third and forever. And now the third down throw incomplete as well.
Intended for Zach Pascal. Incomplete.
Well, this first half has not gone according to plan so far, offensively or even defensively for that matter. They could use a big-time spark somewhere, but it's not going to come on this drive as they have to punt this one away.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. 8 yards on the return following a punt of 41. And it'll be Charger football here as they take over. L.A. readies for its next possession. And 2 picks thrown here in this first half alone. We'll see how that affects him.
Can't wait to see where his confidence is, because the great ones, they'll throw 4 or 5 picks, and while it'll hurt their team, it won't hurt their confidence. They'll think something was just wrong with the ball or the wind or something was funny. It's never about them. That's how they stay so into the moment and into the game. At the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back to huddle and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run. But the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line.
The 47-yard line. A 3-yard gain on the play.
They'll try to pick up the first with Eckler. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41.
Darius Leonard.
6 yards there. First down, L.A.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
McCown now on first down. And right with it here over the middle. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down.
4 yards.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
From the 37, they work on 2nd and 6. Working from the gun, McCown. And Walker has it.
Pass.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
It's a gain of 4.
That's tough to play zone defense when they can just curl up right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talk about finding the soft spot. Defensively, how do you make sure they don't find the soft spot like they did there?
Tough to do, because what they normally will do is run routes that'll pull you out of that spot they want to get into. That's what we call not taking the cheese, right? Don't go for the mousetrap. But it's hard to do because you see a guy.
And with a flag down, he goes down. So they're able to sack him. Now the penalty looks like it could be holding. Let's find out. So instead of giving them another third down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
At their own 25-yard line.
Marlon Mack now heading back out there. Now he's having himself a little bit of a banner game. His team right now, though, losing.
Needs a little bit of help, and I kind of equate it to a basketball game where you have the big score, and sometimes your strategy is, okay, he can go ahead and have all of his points. Let's hold down everyone else, and that's the way you win the game. And right now, he needs everyone else to start scoring, quote-unquote, as he's been.
Yeah, he's hoping to keep it close so maybe they can keep it on the ground, not start to go through the air as much. Throwing again on second down. Rivers.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
Brings up third down and 4.
Rivers from the gun on third down. Man, and he hits him in stride. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup there and moves the stance. Second and 10.
Marlon Mack, incomplete. It's second down and 10.
Throwing again. Rivers. This goes underneath to Doyle. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be third and less than a yard. The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. They had the catch on second down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at third down here. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And fourth down now coming up.
It's always a goal, and it's really nice defensively when you can rally to the football and make sure there's enough contact to force an incompletion.
Force an incompletion and force another punt. Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez. He's been terrific so far. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. And a nice special teams job here. This is going to be down inside the 10 at the 7-yard line. So they'll play the field position game here as a very nice punt is going to pin them back.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a game of tennis, or do you prefer ping pong? You know, back and forth like that? That definitely was excellent, wasn't it?
L.A. set to take over again on offense. You're under a minute to go here in the half. Field position not really in your favor, but still time to try and move the ball and get in field goal range.
Yeah, you got the lead. It's definitely a thought. Let's go ahead and try and increase it. But at the same time, I don't like the odds. I don't like where they are on the field. Got the lead. They've done well in the first half. Don't mess it up and go into halftime looking at each other wondering what if.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. From the gun, it's McCown. And he'll hit his tight end, Walker. Now the Chargers will use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 37 seconds to play in this first half. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now McCown. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Well, so much for getting separation. No chance there. Locked down tight, forcing the incompletion on that attempt.
Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. Again, they'll throw with McCown. Incomplete to the tight end Walker, right side. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line.
A 7-yard gain.
The second down completion got him 7. Now here's 3rd and 3. And McCown throws incomplete there on 3rd down.
Incomplete on the throwaway. Brings up 4th down.
Here's Ty Long now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. So we're at halftime. halftime of this AFC Wildcard matchup. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. The second of our two games here on this Wildcard Saturday is at halftime. We'll get back to you two in just a second. But first, let's remind everyone what we've got coming up in tomorrow's action in the AFC. We've got a good one on tap, as it'll be the Cleveland Browns from 0-16 to the playoffs. Yes, the Cleveland Browns taking on the Buffalo Bills, who are trying to win a playoff game for the first time since 1995. Meanwhile, nothing settled in our wild card game. It's a tight one as we get ready for the third quarter. Standing by to take you the rest of the way, let's get it back to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams trying to avoid being one and done in these playoffs as we start the second half of this AFC wildcard game. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
At their own 25-yard line.
Out comes the Chargers as they'll go on offense now to start this third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
On 2nd and 7, McCown. They call that a loss of 6 yards. And it's third down now.
Tackle made back at the 22-yard line.
For the Colts, an extra defensive back in there now on third down. To throw is McCown. And that is incomplete. So good work there on the defensive side for the first drive of the second half.
Yeah, and until their offense can get into rhythm, their defensive players and staff have got to say to themselves, we've got to make it work. We've got to stand in here and make sure nothing else happens until our guys start moving the ball.
Here's the Colts now as they get ready for their first possession on offense of the second half. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
It's a pickup.
That's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
From the 35 on second down, Rivers, he completes this one to Mack. So he got free of one tackle, but couldn't do a whole lot else.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it can turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. It's a pickup of 6. First down, Indy.
And they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
They'll run it. It's Mack. And he's going to get across midfield and into Charger territory. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
It's a pickup of 6. Brings
They'll
up
run it out of the gun with Mack.
the Chargers.
And he'll get this down only to about the 46.
Marlon Mack.
A couple extra tight ends in the formation here as they line up 3rd and 2. Now it's Hines. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. Down on the field, we've got an injured Colt after that last play. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. They'll run on first down. It's Mack, able to push forward for about 4 down to the 37.
The ball carrier. He's brought down at the 37-yard line. A gain of 4. It's now 2nd and 6.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Rivers. Chargers able to get the pressure and bring him down.
We are seeing two really confident defenses imposing their will on these offenses in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, going toe for toe. Just curious if one of these offenses can wake up a little bit.
Is there any way they can find something that can pop, something big to knock them back on their heels?
And that sack leaves Rivers and the Colts with a 3rd and long. From the gun, Rivers. And he's going to go down again. Myles Garrett, his 2nd sack of the night.
And that's his 2nd sack of the game, but this player, disruptive in all phases, whether he's going upfield, coming underneath, you name it. He's a big-time guy you have to block.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he'll come on for his 5th kick of the night. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 20-yard line.
Here's the Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Here's Eckler to begin the drive. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22.
Number 30, Austin.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8.
Down at the 22-yard line. A gain of 2. Brings up 2nd and 8.
Now McCown. Little underneath throw into the hands of Walker.
That was an okay hook up there with his tight end, but unfortunately, they didn't get the kind of yards they had hoped for. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. To throw, it's McCown. He'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Well, if you're going to turn things around in a game like this, Charles, those are the kind of plays that you need.
And I just love the way that defense rallied to the football on that one. They got the completion, but he was smothered behind the line of scrimmage. And when you make tackles like that, your whole defense is going to be fired up. Really nice play getting to the ball.
44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. On the return, it's Rodgers. 13 yards, the tally on the return there. And that will come the offense as they take over.
At their own
Indy set to go on offense once more. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
Starting the drive with a give to Mack. And he'll take this from 147-yard line to the other. A gain of 6.
The ball carrier. The tackle made at the 47-yard line. A 6-yard pickup.
On 2nd down and 4. Rivers fighting Hilton on the sled. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
They run the draw play with Mack, and he won't get much. Maybe a couple. Down inside the 35 to the 34.
He's tackled at the 34-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Rivers. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on third down.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. All 9 points for him coming via the field goal, and this last one puts him out in front.
All the field goals are great, but you know I'm going to get pessimistic here, right? Because you guys score touchdowns to win games in the NFL. I just wonder if all these field goals, great now, or if they'll come back and haunt them later on.
And the Chargers coming out of the field now. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Wright's got it. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
He'll get this to Ward, and he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39.
A gain of 7. First down, Chargers.
McCown now on first down. Complete to Wright. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Second and 6 at the 44-yard line.
Chubb. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like he'll spot it right in midfield at the 50. 7 yards there and a first down.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Running on first down, Eckler. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
No gain on the play.
From midfield, here's McCown. And he'll be brought down by the Colts. DeForest Buckner able to drop him that time for his 2nd sack of the evening.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. They call that a loss of 7 to bring up 4th. Boy, how good has this defense been seemingly all game long?
I really think right from the first snap, I think you're really onto something there. In this passing game, they just can't get off the ground. In that play, they wound up losing yardage.
First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. Play fake to Mack. Now Rivers. Into the hands of his running back, Marlon Mack. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down.
At the 27-yard line.
Rivers hands this one to Mack. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1.
He's brought down at the 31. It's a gain of 4.
They keep it on the ground. Mack again. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Now a carry from Mack. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Nice satisfying run up.
And now the ball's out, followed there by field. And picked up by the Chargers. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops.
Fumble on the play.
Always costly to cough up that football. These defenders, they become so adept, though, at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there aren't more fumbles caused because now, if you're an offensive player, you go through ball security drills every single day. It's really not out of line to think that you take the ball to bed with you and just hold on to it. But the bottom line is, no matter how much you try to protect it, these guys are pretty good at finding ways to knock it out.
McCown throwing there, and it's incomplete. Intended 3rd quarter, wild card round. Thanks for being along for the playoff ride with us. Here's 2nd and 10. And he's going to get this pretty close to a 1st down at the Colts 32. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
And it brings up 3rd down.
1 quarter remains for the right to survive round 1 here in the AFC. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. It's Chubb. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29.
He's tackled.
Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot of it's been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards. On 1st and 10, here's McCown. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. He was trying to keep his eyes downfield. Nobody came open.
He's trying to do everything that he had been taught, right? Every bit of the technique. But if no one's open, there is no technique except make sure you hold on to the ball as you go to the ground when you're getting sacked.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. Shotgun here for McCown. Open man, Taylor Gabriel. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone.
A gain of 17 yards, but it's 3rd down.
On 3rd down, it's Nick Chubb. And he will have the 1st down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. 2 yards and able to get the 1st down in the process.
Brandon, this can be so demoralizing for a defense. They've had 2 opportunities to get off the field. They haven't gotten it done. So now your coordinator, he's going to call every blitz that he has, any type of exotic, something that they haven't seen before. And he's also telling the defensive lineman, don't worry about holding people up. Just get in gaps and try and make a big play.
And not only not getting off the field on 2 opportunities, clock continuing to run. So here's a 1st and 10 now down inside the 20. Into the red zone now. It's McCown. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete. McCown incomplete on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10.
It's now 2nd and 10.
Here's McCown to throw. And this is Gabriel on the catch. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. Already a pair of third-down conversions for them on this drive, but right now they need 5 yards on this third-down try. And he gets the first-down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. Bit of a surprise. They ran it on third and medium. Proved to be the right call. 1st and 10.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run. Got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. And the question now, how do they want to work the clock here on 1st and goal? A field goal would give them the late lead. Throwing now is McCown. That's going to be caught by Reed for a Charger touchdown. It's a 6-yard touchdown pass, and the Chargers are going to retake the lead. And they use that height on the outside to get the score.
We've seen the evolution of the wide receivers. They've gotten taller and taller, but they've retained their quickness and their speed. It's a lethal combination.
Always good to have wide receivers with height. Here's Badgley now to try to add the PAT. And the lead is up to 5. A 10-play drive that time. And it ends with the Chargers getting into the end zone.
Michael Badgley.
Following the touchdown, Badgley out there to kick it away. This taken in about 4 yards deep. And Rodgers will hold on to this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. And what a pressure spot for both sides, really. But they're at home now. They have the football here in the playoffs, sort of controlling their own destiny.
It's a spot they've all dreamed of. This is where you want to be. Home, have the ball, a chance to win the game, control your own destiny, as you noted. But here's the thing. Don't let the crowd get too involved if you're this team. You've got to make sure you let them carry you, but not cause you to do things out of what you're supposed to do, right? Take you away from focusing and concentrating on the game.
Because sometimes you get so amped from the crowd that can carry you in the spots you don't want to be. Is that what you're saying?
From experience, sometimes that crowd gets so involved in it and you get involved with them that you end up making plays or trying to do things that maybe you shouldn't have done. You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me. Good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
This one into the hands of Burton. And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4.
A gain of 4 brings up 3rd.
An extra cornerback now in the game for the Chargers here on 3rd. Again, it's Rivers. Dumps this one off to Mack. And a nice job there defensively. They get him to the ground short of the first, right around the 42.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
Sanchez, as he'll come on to kick for a 6th time tonight. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. A 40-yard punt, no return. And the offense will come back out deep in their own territory. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. And this a very important drive leading in the 4th quarter of this wild card game. But this one far from over as they start out here first down. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. 2nd and 7. Here's McCown. Big hold of the 30. And Walker has it. And he's going to get this to the 40-yard line. Good work after the catch. Going to net him 23 and a first.
First down.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on first and second downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
On first down, they'll run with Chubb. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. Second and 10 coming up.
No gain on the play. Brings up second and 10 at the 41-yard line.
McCown to throw on second down. The Colts are going to get him. Down he goes.
You know, on these types of plays, we're always looking to assess blame. Okay, where did it break down? Sometimes it's just a great play.
Third down.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on third and long. McCown going to throw. And he'll hit his tight end, Walker. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. Despite a pickup of 16, they're still well short of the sticks on fourth. I hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
Here's Ty Long now as he's on to punt for L.A. And a fair catch called for and made just outside the 15-yard line. 36 yards on the punt with no return. And the Colts will go on offense here, first and 10. The Colts set to take over here offensively. If they want to advance in this divisional round, look, obviously the time is now. Trailing here in the fourth as they go to work on a crucial drive, first and 10. The first down throw here for Rivers. And nowhere to get away. Rivers is dropped. Myles Garrett, his second sack of the night.
My man, it's been a rough night for that offensive line, and it's only getting rougher. 5 sacks now that they've given up in this contest so far. It feels like the witching hour out here, doesn't it?
Okay, stupid question. What's the witching hour?
Yeah, the witching hour. That's when everything goes haywire late at night.
Second and 14. Working out of the gun, Rivers. He's got Burton here. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up their down.
13.
To throw, Rivers. He's got his tight end, Burton. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. From the 32 now, here's first and 10. From the shotgun, it's Rivers. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Joey Bosa able to drop him that time for his second sack of the evening.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
A long ways to go here on second down. From the gun, Rivers. This goes to Mack on the check down. Rivers 6 yards on the pickup, and they're going to face an uphill battle here on third and long. third and long for Rivers. He completes this one to Mack. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. A gain of 9, not enough, and it's fourth down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
On fourth down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. We call that a punt of 38 yards officially, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs.
27-yard.
L.A. readies for its next possession. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead. They begin this drive with Chubb, and I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up second and 11.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty, but when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Of a yard there to start out. That leads to a second and 11. They run it again with Chubb. They have nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain that time, and it leaves him with third and 11 coming up. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is third and long. From the gun, it's McCown. He'll get this to Eckler. And this play going to be stopped in its tracks at the 32, and obviously well short of the first down. That one good for only 6, and it leaves him with a fourth down.
How about that strategy there, Brandon? Third down, they just said, we've got faith in our tacklers. We'll give you the short stuff, and just decided to protect the sticks. So every time I hear fans telling me tackling's not a part of the game anymore, plays like that, I can clip and save and show them you have to tackle well if you want to be a good defense.
Here's Ty Long now as he's on to punt for L.A. Fair catch called for and made right at the 25-yard line. And they call it 38 yards on the punt, no return. The Colts now, their offense works their way back onto the field. Their defense accomplished step one of the mission. They forced the punt. Now they'll look to erase that deficit and take a fourth quarter lead. Rivers going to bring the Colts up first and 10 at their 25-yard line. And now a throw here secured by his running back out of the backfield. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
To throw again on second down, Rivers. And boy, that one drops incomplete, but if he was hit a fraction sooner, it may have been a fumble.
Well, that plays a statistic that's going to go on the defensive team stat sheet. Won't necessarily reflect in ours, right, the overall game sheet. But you and I know that they keep count on pressures, hits on quarterbacks, all those things, hoping to increase that throughout the game. And here we are in the fourth quarter, and they got a big one.
That's such a close game, a very big one. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So the Colts in possession of the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Fighting Hilton on the slant. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable second and 1. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. 11 yards there, first down.
At the 40.
They'll throw again. Rivers connecting with Burton here over the middle. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's third down. After the incompletion, here now, third and 2. They'll look to throw. From the outright incomplete. That's Burton. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
This is caught, and he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. The catch good for 6 yards, but now it's 3rd and goal.
I'm a little surprised right here. They've got 3 timeouts left. The clock's running down, and they are using them. Those timeouts do you no good at home. Use them now.
Game on the line, season on the line. They're going for it here on 4th down. And they'll let the fullback try and take it home. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Roosevelt Nix in the final minute. And the Colts are once again going to retake the lead.
Wow, I know it's a never-say-never situation, but to me, that looks like that's the one that's going to finish them off.
A score that puts them in front here late, but not. You got to rally your kick team, don't you, and say the last thing we need is a big return.
And what happens is guys get overeager, get out of their lane because they're so excited they want to make the last tackle. You mess up, could come back at you a long way.
Now here's Rivers. He'll bring his guys up, and they'll go for the 2-point conversion. Here's Rivers. And this is caught. And it's a 3-point game.
That makes the score.
So that effort gives them a 3-point cushion and guarantees that a field goal going forward won't beat them.
Yeah, that's really good strategy because that's all you care about. Not getting beat at this stage. At least give your team a fighting chance.
Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This will make it into the end zone. And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee, and they'll start things out at the 25. So the Chargers now down by a field goal, a little over 30 seconds remaining. A field goal could get this playoff game to overtime, but this crowd, they are going to make it tough as they line up 1st and 10. And he can't hang on to it. That would have sealed it. Instead, 2nd down.
It's now 2nd and 10 at the 25-yard line.
McCown to throw. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. The Chargers going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 22 ticks to go in the 4th. On play action, it's McCown. And a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked up by Malik Hooker. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line.
Intercepted. The Colts take over 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them. Now the Chargers will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 13 seconds left to play. And they'll indeed take a knee. Chargers going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 11 seconds remaining in the ball game. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. And they take a knee.
Rivers on the keeper.
Well, they certainly didn't appear to be fired up about their options throwing the football. So, to me, this seems like a case of just kind of taking their medicine there, run the ball, see if they could pick up something. Instead, they were throwing for a loss.
And Charles, on the losing side of things, you know, they didn't come in here as the favorite to these playoffs, but they came in with a lot of hope and anticipation. Tough to have that all snuffed out so quickly.
It really is. You're one of 12 teams when the playoffs begin that still has a chance to win the Super Bowl. So that's pretty darn good. And as you often talk about, a lot of hope when the playoffs start. Well, that ended for them. But when they look back, they'll have a lot to be proud of and see if they turn the page towards the next season.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
All right, so it looks like it's the end of our season. Can't be too mad we made it to the playoffs, right? Hopefully we can build on that. However, it's kind of unrealistic to expect to improve when we have to still fill some holes. So I guess enjoy these kind of seasons when they come, but eventually we'll be at the point where we're a perennial playoff team. For now, thank you for supporting the team for this season. The next video will be the start of the second season, beginning with the off season. All right. So thank you for supporting so far. I hope you've enjoyed the videos, and the next video will be some highlights of the off season and then the draft.